Smog Fantasy Cast. Hello.
How you doing there, Bog?
It's a weird week, guys. It's a weird week. We're coming into week 11.
That's right.
And this is the league where everybody is 5-5. The points don't matter.
Actually, the points will matter. The points will matter soon.
Yeah, probably. But everyone's 5-5, and the stress is always high because you never feel like you are securing a playoff position. And I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I just want it to end.
And yet here we are. I mean, it's like there are 6 people who are 5-5.
That's right.
And 1 4-6 who's still in it. But anybody's going to the playoffs. Just anyone?
Could be. Is it you? Is it me? Probably you. Probably Phil's making it. But guys, thanks for joining, Phil, Cole. We got another week ahead of us, and as always, it's a pleasure to be here talking some fantasy football with you. And this past week was, like we said, for me, it was a little wild. We had some lopsided games. We had some high-scoring games. The league is weird. We came off the roller coaster that was, for all of us who have any interest in the Vikings, the craziest game I've ever seen. Like, honestly, the wildest game I've ever seen. It was nuts.
Yeah.
What were you guys? Where was your heart rate that whole time?
Oh, I had 3 heart attacks. I remember just like being defeated and like kneeling on the floor when they were in the end zone and like trying to get out after they stopped us at the goal line. And then the announcer was like, "Oh my God, it's a fumble." And I just distinctly remember looking at Cole like, and we were just like in awe, didn't say a dang thing. It was amazing to watch.
It was truly remarkable. I mean, as a Viking fan, you're never on the good side of a roller coaster. But we made it through. and we've been doing it all year. But wow, that game, yeah, easily top 2, or even just, I think that's the best Vikings game I've ever watched, period. Just a wonderful game.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
No, I agree. Like, I think, the only thing that really can kind of compare to it, right, is the miracle, right? Because it was in the playoffs. It was the last play of the game, walk-off, touchdown, crazy catch. But, like, that game was, like, a whole lot of disappointment and then built up to, like, something miraculous where, like, they should have won. This game was the Vikings were kind of underdogs going against what a lot of people thought were the best team in the league. They were down.
Super Bowl favorite.
Big.
Yep.
And, like, had massive plays to, like, keep getting you going. And then, like, the whole fourth quarter was just, like, a roller coaster. It was wild. And it was really
that Justin Jefferson catch on 4th down was immaculate. It was incredible.
It's the best catch. I
think there were 3 catches in that game where you're lucky if you see one of those in one game. And we were the benefactors of like 3 of probably the top 5 or 10 catches that'll happen all year. Like Justin Jefferson had 2 of them, I think, in that game. And Stephon Diggs had that one where it looked like that ball was going to be 5 feet over his head. But he just stuck an arm up there and pulled her down.
Mm-hmm.
And such a cool thing, too, like the fact that we traded a pick. We got that pick for Justin Jefferson by sending Diggs that way. There's so many cool narratives in that game.
Yep.
And they came out with a W, which, let's get into it, is not something that everyone did this past week. Let's look at our Week 10 in review. And I am one of those who did not walk away with a win, falling to Tanner, 132-95. So he climbs up to 5-5, just like the rest of the league. I fall to 5-5. And this was the story of his running backs, of course, Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor, and CeeDee Lamb went ahead and had himself a game. While on the other side, Alvin Kamara, Amari Cooper, Deebo Samuel, Gerald Everett, the Dallas defense, all duds for me. So my team did not, and his very much so did. So he comes away with a victory, and once again, sitting there right in playoff contention.
Yep.
And maybe one of the more lopsided matchups that we had was Ben's team. I think we had talked about this going into this week. We thought maybe Tyler could walk away with a victory here over Ben, looking a little optimistic. But it didn't happen. Ben comes away with a solid win, 148-86. And what did you guys see in this one? Cole, what did you think about it?
The big pieces here were Zeke Elliott not playing. So I don't know if that was a game time decision. I don't remember hearing it much before the game. And then also Zach Ertz, now done for the season on IR, got hurt in the middle of that game. So there's where the Tyler opportunity went away in that quick 2 moments there. Phil, how about you? What did you like here?
I mean, Ben's team just kind of went off. Connor got into the end zone twice. Tua's still going strong. I mean, his only dud was his kicker, which is always good to have that be your only dud. So, good win for Ben.
That Rondale trade's looking pretty nice for him. 13
It is.
targets over there.
It's a lot of targets.
Hollywood Brown's coming back. That'll go down, I hope.
Mm-hmm.
But Cole, speaking of you walked away with a W, 110-99. This had to be a little bit of a stressful one for you. And wouldn't you know it, both teams are now 5-5.
The math checks out. Wonderful.
This was really the only close game last week. Every other game was kind of just one person went off, the other person didn't. But Cole, what do you think about your team going forward?
It's going to be a race. I mean, I'm going to need some big weeks from some of my players that aren't contributing right now. I think Allen and Henry, and once Lockett gets back from bye, can maybe carry my team into a couple more wins that I will absolutely need, because although I'm 5-5 like the rest of us, I need points and I need them bad. I'm probably second or the second lowest or the lowest in the league, other than Tyler's team right now.
Yeah, and I was just peeking at that because, like we said, the points actually probably will matter, right? I'm guessing that's going to be, I mean, for all I know, it might be the tiebreaker for 2 spots in the playoffs. Could be the tiebreaker for at least 1, I'm going to guess here. So you're sitting down at an 8th, the bottom of the 5-5 barrel, but the spread between you at 8th and Ben in 3rd is only 110 points. Like, it's a decent amount, and it's quite a bit to make up in like 4 weeks, kind of like, or 5 weeks on averaging out. But
yeah,
I mean, the 4th spot, you're only 70 points back, right?
And there was that fluke week where I think Phil scored 190 and Tanner scored 60. So it's not beyond the realm of maybe 3 or 4 games gaining 20 and 30 points on the guy above you. But I think the easiest way to just get over that is just to win out. So
that is very true. Wins are what will get you in. But that was not the case for you this week, Phil. You took another L to
Yeah.
Joe's team. This one was pretty close, though.
It was still pretty close, yeah.
Yeah, 15 points, especially for how high scoring it was. Not crazy. But yeah, you fell short on this one, falling down to 7-3, and now you and Michael are both tied at 7-3 up at the top, with you holding the points tiebreaker. But what was going on this week for you in this matchup?
So, going into it, I thought there's a pretty good chance that I could win, but there's also a great chance he could as well. And Juju going out early in the game, only coming up with 4 targets, right? And Jerry Jeudy, 1 target. He went out. So, I mean, I feel like if those two stayed in, got a few more targets, got a few more receptions, I could have pulled this game out. But 123 points, I'm not mad about that. We'll see how it goes next week.
Yeah, and a little preview ahead. You got yourself a big matchup this week, for sure. But before we get into that, let's talk about the final matchup of the week. Are you ready for some football? Gets the W over the natural born Kylers, 151-90. Ethan falls to 4-6, while Michael climbs up to 7-3. And this was Justin Jefferson, Deonta Foreman, Jeff Wilson, Tyler Higbee.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he had himself a week here, getting up to 151 points for Michael, and then Ethan's team just didn't. Cooper Kupp going down, not going to help you. TJ Hawkinson, not as much as what you hope. And as we kind of said, Ethan's team goes as Miami goes, and Miami, while they walked away with a massive W with 39 points, those receivers, it all went to the running backs, it seemed like, and those receivers did not have great games.
Right, yeah, that's not great to see, but Miami can put up points, and those receivers are going to be just fine. Just a bad week.
Oh, yeah. Except for this week.
Except for
Miami's on bye. So
right.
So Ethan's team's going to be in a little bit of a stir, trying to figure out who he can find to start this week. Plus,
coming up with a win.
Cooper Kupp going out on injury. This team's on life support right now.
Yeah, coming up with a win's going to be tough next week. So congratulations, Nick.
I'm looking forward to it. Ethan, I think, has beaten me in 4 straight matches or games between us, including a championship. So, you know what? I don't feel bad about it at all. So, this is your just desserts. just look at the trophy that you have while I destroy you. But that's week 10. Take a look back at what has happened. But oh God,
what is it?
No, don't take me. It's the bungle. The bungle is here.
The bungle
Once
man
again. The bungle. The bungle is Jordan.
Seems like a real bungle of a guy. Seems like he's been on.
What? And I think we were talking about this. He's also getting bungled over in court right now. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's right.
Gosh.
That's right. Jury duty.
Jury duty, just bungling around.
He just.
But no. In all seriousness, he started Kareem Hunt and Cordero Patterson, and had he replaced one of those, because he started a running back in his flex also with Miles Sanders, could have rotated one of them out for Drake London, and that would have given him a W, and he would have sat up alone at 6-4 in securely in the third place spot, looking okay for the playoffs. But instead, he's down in the 5-5 cesspool that this league is just breathing in right
Google
now.
gobble, one of us. Google gobble, one of us.
That's right. And that was Boggle's biggest bungle.
That bungle monster will get you.
It comes
Gotta
for
be
us
careful.
all at some point. But let's, the trade deadline is passed. There's not a lot that people can be doing to make their teams better besides the waiver wire. So let's get into it. Let's look at our transactions from this last week. And we were talking before the show, and there's one that I very, very much so like, and I would have loved to do if I felt like I had guys to dump on my team. And actually, I probably should have. But Cole, Ben Skoranek, I like this pickup. Maybe not this week if Stafford is out, but I think in the future, Skoranek is going to have a role in LA, and I like that for the rest of the year. That was my favorite pickup, and especially at the $0 bid for sure. What moves did you guys like?
I thought Jarek.
Go ahead.
I thought Jerick McKinnon is a fine pickup by Joe. It looks kind of like a three-headed monster, but one of them can boom, and Jerick McKinnon has the possibility of doing that. Maybe I wouldn't throw him in my lineup, but a good spot start in the flex, maybe.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he might have the safest floor of the Kansas City running backs too, just because he's gonna get the passing game.
Mm-hmm.
What's funny about the Chiefs, I heard they actually they put an offer in for Eno Benjamin too. So clearly Clyde is not the answer right now for them. So
Or
they are
Pacheco.
pivoting.
I guess they don't have confidence in any of those guys.
I think they're going to keep with Pacheco pretty hard still. We'll see though. He had a good week this week. They gave him a lot of touches.
Mm-hmm.
The pickup I liked was Tristan Ebner, if I'm saying that right. So now Herbert out for the year or just on IR. I think he's pretty much done for the year.
On
for the
IR,
fantasy.
they didn't say, yeah.
For the fantasy purposes of this year, we'll say done. Maybe not. Maybe he comes back in week 16 or 17, but I doubt even if he does come back, he's going to be any value to that franchise or you in your fantasy game. But nobody else placed a bid, which I was a little surprised because Montgomery's pretty much known for getting banged up all the time too, so he could easily slide in as that one running back for Chicago who they're going to be playing from behind a lot, so I feel like opportunities will come to that offense quite a bit.
Yeah.
I agree.
Me
Thanks.
too.
Those were the biggest transactions that we saw this week that we were fans of. And that's where we're going to have to live now, guys. If you are trying to make some moves to make your team a little bit better, get some of those starts as guys go down, scrape that waiver wire. But you know what? Enough of this talking about waiver wires and who's available. Everyone's available to us, guys. Everyone, because it's a pizza party.
It is a pizza party.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
We're dancing to no music. And
right.
badly dancing, I must say.
Hey, you're right. It's bad. But who wants to kick us off? Well, let's recap here.
Yeah.
Phil, you're a back-to-back buyer.
Well, now, hold on. I'll put a little asterisk in there. I forgot the first time. But I am a back-to-back buyer. I consider myself a one-week loser at this point.
Has anyone kept tabs on who's bought how many? I think I've bought one.
I've bought twice.
I've bought twice.
Okay. Has Jordan bought any? I don't think he has. I don't think
No,
he
Jordan
finished
has
last.
not bought.
Okay.
that
Bot-
correct grammar?
Yeah, it doesn't
Button?
sound button. Bide.
Oh,
Bye.
he went down and bought himself some.
Pizza.
Too early to say who's got this locked up. Yeah.
It is too early. And I see we've got all entries, so we'll wait to see what Jordan's got going. We've got 4 entries in. As a reminder, anybody else wants to get in on the pizza party, let us know. Everyone is welcome.
It's lots of
Everyone loves pizza.
Everybody does. But I want to hear your... I feel like I've always kind of kicked it off. I want to hear Cole. I want to hear you start us off with what you are doing at quarterback this week.
fun. Okay. I locked in Justin Herbert, 6,900, playing Kansas City. So we know points can come up in that way for their defense not being good and them scoring a lot of points, so it's always catch-up time.
Always
That's
catch-up
right.
time.
Always catch-up time, especially at Heinz Field, for sure. Now, I spent down... How much did Justin Herbert cost you?
6,900, so a little bit towards
Nice.
the top. Yeah.
Nice.
100 times nice.
I spent down... Nice. I spent down... I spent down and I went with Daniel Jones at 5,700.
He was in there for a little bit for me.
Yeah, I like it. I'm borderline debating, do I start Daniel Jones over Dak Prescott this week? But
I don't know.
I want to watch Dak play the Vikings, so I'll probably just slot him in there just for fun, you know what I mean? But yeah, Daniel Jones, 5,700. Not that he is great, but he is playing the worst defense in the league in Detroit. So let's see what he can do. I wouldn't doubt if he throws and rushes for at least one apiece. So that's what I'm hoping for.
I like that pick. I was about to do that, but then I thought I would spend the most money at $7,600. And I'm just going to continue in the flames of Justin Fields.
You did it, huh?
He's finally
I did it.
He's finally expensive now. He's almost in that top tier quarterback for fantasy purposes.
Yep, I'm staying in those flames.
Nice. If he does what he has been doing, it is worth the quiche. But what did you do at running back?
I slammed in Brian Robinson at 5,300. Oh yeah, I thought that was easy.
Yeah.
I thought that was easy.
Must have hurt.
He looked great against the Eagles. If they're going to keep establishing the run, they play Houston this week, who we all know is the worst run defense in the NFL, as we've seen multiple games already. And then I threw in Elijah Mitchell right behind him. I'm seeing this last week that they're kind of going to limit a little bit of the touches for Christian McCaffrey going forward. So I think there's definitely an upside there. He was only 4,700, so I feel like there's a good chance to overperform those numbers.
Yeah, I actually really like that Elijah Mitchell value. I might end up in some of my actual cash lineups here. On the other hand, I spent up big in the running back spots, going for Austin Eckler for 8,500 against the Chiefs and Derrick Henry for 8,100 against Green Bay.
Big spender.
I can't wait to hear the rest of your team.
I love both of those.
Crazy.
I love both those picks. Austin Eckler was also in my lineup with Daniel Jones until the Tinkerman came and started tinkering. For my running backs, I have Miles Sanders versus the Colts. They're not great. And Miles Sanders has been awesome. And then I have, and he was 6,900. For 6,500, I have Tony Pollard. Mm-hmm. Hopefully Zeke is out again. If not,
Limited.
he still has a chance to get some points up.
Yeah, he's got huge potential against Vikings. We don't really play the run too great. I know we have done well in this recent games, But they can chuck it off for sure. Especially he's mega fast. So
Yeah, I could see that being a high-scoring game. So I could see some home run plays coming for sure. Now, speaking of home runs, wait till you hear my wide receivers.
oh gosh, you want me to tell you? I'll tell you mine first here, quick. I got
Let's see it.
I got Mike Williams. So as long as he's healthy, I got the Justin Herbert, Mike Williams stack. Same game, Kansas City. That's exactly the same thing,
Okay.
Lots of points. Tooney on the other side of the ball, 5,400 there. They're just getting banged up at wide receiver, so somebody's got to pick up the role. Hopefully, it's not Kelsey, right? It's Tony, not Tooney. Right. That's why I was getting the eyes.
Okay.
Yeah, I call him Tooney because I don't know how to read apparently. And then at my last wide receiver, my phone just shut off. Paris Campbell. He's done a lot better with Matt Ryan. He had a decent week last week, and the matchup is Philadelphia. So if they don't get crushed, at least they're going to have to play back to get in the game, and lots of balls to maybe Pity City, maybe Jonathan Taylor in the backfield. So we'll see.
Yeah, I like your team so far. Cool. I swung for the fences here with some long shots. My most expensive wide receiver that I really spent up on is Rondale Moore at 5,300. He has in the last 3 weeks increased in targets, going from 8 targets to 10 targets to 13 targets in this last game, and has been doing really well. And they're going up against San Francisco, who is a good defense, especially against the run. So I'm hoping he should get some volume. And
Great
in
pick.
the Tennessee Green Bay matchup, we were rolling with Christian Watson. They reaffirmed this week that they want him to be the center point, the kind of main part of their offensive passing attack, and Tennessee is not good against the pass. So Christian Watson at 4,900, I was a fan of. And then in my final spot, just at the little $3,900, Mr. Ben Skoranek. Cooper Kupp going down. We'll see what Skoranek has to offer.
I like it. I like those low receivers. I also went a little low. My highest receiver is 5,500, Jacoby Myers.
Okay.
He's really the only guy I want in the passing attack in New England. So he's got a safe floor. And then I also went Kadarius Toney, Juju getting banged up, MVS getting banged up, Mecole Hardman getting banged up. He got a touchdown last week where I think it's Toney time. And then I went, instead of Ben, I went Van Jefferson. Ben might have the PPR type of, maybe more targets, but
Yeah.
Van could home run
Absolutely.
touchdown in there. So those are my receivers.
Cole, what'd you do at the tight end spot?
I keeping it tight this week. I keeping it tight with Greg Dulcich, 3,800 going against Las Vegas. Yeah.
Now, is he known for just being very tight? Is that?
Yeah, you're keeping it tight.
I think that mustache and that hair is just beautiful. Yeah. So
It's got to be tight with that style.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I'm a little loose here. I went Dalton Schultz, as we all know.
Oh,
very, very loose. And he went for 4,300 in that game against Minnesota. So I think he's going to get a lot of targets.
Yeah. And I keeping in the flames again. I'm doing the stack of Justin Fields and Cole Kmet. You know,
Right.
he's got 5 touchdowns the last 2 games. He's got to get 1 at least this game. Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, they're going up against Atlanta, so.
Right. Yeah. So I'm happy about it.
Who
What
am
are
I
you
flexing?
Cole?
Who am I flexing? I'm flexing the most expensive guy probably that's out there, Justin Jefferson. Let's let that ride. He's been doing great. If we get ahead, maybe they don't use him as much, but I still feel like a really good, safe baseline for him is probably 80 yards, 8 catches. I don't think he goes anything under that. So I felt like that was worth spending up for.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, fantastic. I went with another one who should be a volume play against a bad team at 6,100, David Montgomery. That's who I'm rolling with. So, Khalil Herbert going down. I'm hoping he gets a decent amount of volume. We know he's good, so see what he can do at 6,100.
I like that pick. I am flexing Kenyon Drake. He, I like what I see so far from him. He's not the greatest. He doesn't have a safe floor, I don't think, but we'll see what he does against Carolina. And then my defense, I went with the Giants versus Detroit.
Yeah,
I don't have to explain that.
No, that makes sense. I kind of did a similar thing. I took Washington against Houston, which I also do not need to explain.
Yes.
No. Yeah, and then I went real expensive with my defense. I went the Eagles playing Indianapolis. I also don't think anyone wants explanation for that. So
nope. Play defenses against bad teams. That's what you can do.
Although Jeff Saturday 1-0 as a coach. So
it's because of all that lack of experience.
Yeah,
he's a blank slate.
Mm-hmm.
He's got blank space.
That's right.
Where he'll write your name.
Beautiful T Swift ref.
Thank you. You know what? I think it's time to look forward. Let's stop living in the past. Let's look forward to Week 11. Week 11, where we got some juggernaut matchups coming out here, and you know what, guys? Let's just jump right into it. We got the 2 top teams facing off. 7-3 versus 7-3. Phil versus Michael. You are projected very strongly here, 130 to 109. But what I'm going to let you run through this. You've probably looked at it more than anyone. What are you thinking in this matchup?
Well, I think I have a pretty decent chance. Foreman, we've seen he can go off. He had 31 carries last week, I believe, which is good to see. But I'm not as scared of him and Pacheco. Allen Robinson, we know what he's been with Cooper Kupp out. Maybe he gets a boost. Maybe he's awesome. Who knows? I don't think he will be, but I'm just seeing a lot of people that could have good games on his side, but I don't think it's a high probability. So I'm feeling good.
Right, a lot of maybes.
Yeah.
But call me maybe when this one's done, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll see
absolutely.
If you're sitting on top or if you're getting a little closer to the 5-5 cesspool like the rest of us. But I'm going to leave.
I hope not.
I think you come away with a W here.
Yeah, I think it says 60% chance, Phil. I think it's more like 80%. Michael has a few opportunities with some big games for some of his players, but yeah, I'll leave Phil's way also.
All right, and talking about leaning specific ways, Colt, you're a leaner.
That has been said before.
The best segue.
Well, we all know he does. He leans.
Sometimes he leans around. I get it.
You're a heavy favorite here against Tyler. 113 to 80 currently, trying to get above 500, 6-5. You got a good matchup here. Josh Allen, Derrick Henry, Tony Pollard. All these guys should have some pretty solid games. Receiver is where I'm seeing a lot of question marks for you. But what are you feeling like?
I'm feeling not sure about this matchup for the simple fact also Tyler doesn't have his team set yet, so there's a couple players he's got to plug in.
Fair point.
So that's why it looks so lopsided. It's not going to be that way, I promise. I mean, if it is, I'm more than happy to take that lean.
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
But yeah, there's some good matchups for my bigger names. Yeah, the wide receiver position's spooky. You know, I mean, Gabe had a good week last week, but he can disappear. Boyd in that offense can the same thing. He can disappear, but he can also have big weeks. Collins had a decent week last week. He had 10 targets and a touchdown, so I'm hoping he can repeat. Kittle disappeared. Yeah, it's not. I'm not feeling.
Got a lot of magicians
confident.
on your team.
Yeah, there's no confidence here, and that's why I'm in 8th place, 5-5, just clinging on to every point in victory I can grab. So Tyler, please let me have this one. I'll give myself the nod in hopes that I take care of business. So
yeah, I agree. I'm going to lean your way, but
you're leaning too.
Maybe I'm going to lean too, and you know, I think you can cling on to victory. And speaking of Klingons.
I will say about this matchup, it's going to be tough for Tyler. He's going to have to pick up a tight end on the waiver wire.
Yeah.
Zach Ertz is out. Noah Fant, his backup, is on bye, so he's going to need to go to the waiver wire and dig through that
who do we got up that
trash
waiver wire?
of tight ends.
Well, you can always plug and play Taysom Hill, who just landed on the waiver wire. He's a home run shot.
Mm-hmm.
Or you like solid. Maybe Juwan Johnson's had a pretty good floor the last 4 or 5 weeks here. So
yeah,
he actually has
one of those two.
Just some friendly advice, Tyler. Or you know what? Just I'll take Hill. Play Taysom Hill. I'll take that roller coaster of 2 to 40 points, whatever he puts up. So
right.
Yeah. Or maybe one of the better dynasty pickups that if you did want to stash them, Kylan Granson in Indy could end up having more of a role at some point. But anyway, you know.
No, it was speaking of Klingon, right?
Well, yeah, but then we were talking about Granson, and, you know, once upon a time, I was thinking about my future grandson, and
okay. Okay.
They were telling me about this matchup between kicking it with Kareem and the fantasy football team.
What is this? This isn't just an old man.
Grandpa, you need to take your medicine.
It's a weird, very weird accent, Nick.
You don't like it?
No, I love it.
Yeah, so Jordan is going up against Ben. This is a very important matchup, 5-5 teams. Looks to be a close one, 120 to 116. Ben being favored at the moment. I don't know. You take a look, and Jordan's team is really kind of the ride or die on Lamar. Is he going to start having some good games or not? Is Mark Andrews going to play? Is going to be a big factor. So that's kind of the way I look at it. Like, if those two play and play well, Jordan will win, I think. Now, that being said, Ben has the Joe Burrow T. Higgins stack against Pitt, which seems pretty nice. Pitt has not been good, but last week did actually look pretty good on defense against New Orleans. And then Rondale Moore's starting to have himself a game. Diggs looks great. I actually think Dalton Schultz is starting to look really good. So, Ben's team, I'm going to lean Ben's way. I like kind of the safety of his team right now. But, I mean, we always say it, right, when we talk about Jordan's team. Lamar and Andrews can just go off, and then your week's done. He won. So.
Yep. I'm in the same boat. So.
Yeah, Ben's team's got a pretty safe floor. Jordan's team, maximum volatility. So, yeah, the coin flip here is probably perfect. I think it's the time of year, though, where you take those long shots. I'll go Jordan this week. I think he pulls it out.
All right.
Yeah, and speaking of pulling out.
Put it back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll talk about my matchup here. I'm matched up against Ethan, like we kind of alluded to. I'm favored 113 to 84. Both I said at 5-5. Ethan at 4-6. Ethan's team is hurting this week with having Cup out with injury. He's got all of Miami on bye, right? So that takes out Mostert, Hill, and Waddle. So yeah, I mean, you take out all those guys, I feel pretty good. Not the best matchups for a couple of my guys, but I think this is kind of a good week for that. Like he's plugged some guys in here. Like Westbrook Akine had a massive week last week. Who knows? Keenan Allen might play, and if he does, he's good. Van Jefferson could hit home runs. I think it's the running backs where it starts to make me feel a little bit safer. It's just a very, very tough week for Ethan, and I think I should come away with a victory, but I don't know. Football's weird. We'll see what happens.
Yep, I'm with you on that. It's too bad that Cooper Kupp went down, that Miami's on a bye. That's not going to look good for Ethan's team, but his plug-in players can do something, so.
I mean, if Ethan can pull out a win this week, my goodness. How do I want to finish my pick? Because I'm sure Nick's going to use it as this.
Finishing,
yeah, I picked you to win that one, Nick. Yep.
Yeah, so we get the last matchup of the week here, another 5-5 matchup that will have some big implications. Joe taking on Tanner. Current projections sit with Tanner 127 to Joe's 99. Pretty heavy favorite there. Joe has a couple people here that you wouldn't traditionally want to have to plug in, but he made the move to go get McKinnon. Like we said, might have a safe floor to be able to play, and can hit some home runs. I didn't realize this. Look at this. Isaiah Likely promoted off of the taxi squad on the active roster. Okay. So we got Isaiah Likely stepping in to the tight end position for Joe right now.
Goddard out for the year. Yep.
Sit with Goddard out for the year. So Joe's in a little bit of a tough spot right now just because ETN and Rashad White, who is starting to look really, really good, both out on bye, so he's having to plug and play McKinnon. But hey, if Fields goes for 40 again, I'll lean his way. You know what I mean? So otherwise, Tanner's team is just really good now. Especially you get Hurts, Barkley, Taylor, Lamb. I mean,
solid.
Those four just at the top are solid. And honestly, like Herbert going down, I think solidified his David Montgomery or Khalil Herbert decision and
Mm-hmm.
upped the value for his team in that spot too. So, I'm gonna go with Tanner on this one, and I don't know. I think I've just kind of been saying all year I like Tanner's team, and I think it's good. I think he's gonna come away with the W.
I agree. I think with Taylor going down and Dak going down, like his team looked really eerie in the beginning of the season, but now everybody looks like they're back to form, and I think he's going to make a big run. I'm going with Tanner this week.
Yeah, is he one of your picks to slide into the playoffs? I mean, I think I'll pick you, Nick, and Michael Tweeten. So there's a top 4 right there. If I were to guess right now, yeah, and Tanner will come out with a win this week. I think it's pretty easy to pull up the W.
Yeah, I think
right.
I had Tanner at my 2 spot on the power rankings, and this is why. His team is deep and has big upside. It's a very good roster right now. So, yeah. But as all things do, sometimes you got to pull out and finish, and that's what we're doing with this show. You know what I mean?
The show? Yeah. Oh, yeah. We got to finish the show at some point. How else you gonna finish? Got to pull out.
Shaft, bro. But that is it. We're signing off from the Bog and Smog Fantasy Cast. We will talk to you guys next week. Good luck in Week 11. Signing off.
Peace.
Later, guys.